All right, every sign is pointing to it, folks. We are witnessing the desperate last-ditch attempts of a political provocateur's fading career in front of our very eyes, and a great example is right here. Donald Trump held a rally in Warren, Michigan about 2 months back in September, and that rally was largely packed. The crowd was full, but when he held a rally in the same place, Warren, Michigan, in the same venue in November, just today, November 1st, the rally was largely empty. And we are seeing this across the nation as Donald Trump begins to slip in the polls, as he begins to essentially self-sabotage throughout the last week. I mean, through the Puerto Rico comments, through the garbage truck stunt, and through the Liz Cheney comments. All of these things paint a pretty damning picture for swing voters. And a quick anecdotal story. I talk about this group chat that I'm in all the time with my Trump-supporting friends. One of them is officially abstaining from voting. He is staying home, potentially even voting Kamala, due to Donald Trump's insane rhetoric over the past week. And here's the reality of it. Here's the reality we need to realize. We've been paying attention to politics for years. We probably never stopped paying attention to politics on the off season. A lot of undecided voters only pay attention during the last week, during the last 4 days. And Trump's last 4 days have been terrible. So, with 3 or 4 days to go, make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe. We're trying to get to 700,000. We're trying to get to 700,000 subscribers, and I'll show you this clip in a second. But this poll may leave you with some hope. The final poll from the Times and YouGov finds that Kamala Harris is set to narrowly win enough swing states to take the White House only if everybody watching this video votes, votes, votes. Quote, we find Kamala Harris very narrowly wins enough of those states to become America's first female president, Times U.S. Assistant Editor David Charter said on Friday. This comes as the Harris campaign official says they fully expect former President Donald Trump to declare victory before all of the votes had been counted. Quote, it won't work, the official said during a press call. Quote, he did this before. It failed, they added. If he does it again, it will fail. And this, in and of itself, is so absurd and unprecedented. The fact that our former president declared victory prematurely on election night while he was the president is scary, and I can't believe that we may have to go through that again, but thankfully he won't have the power he had last time, and everybody is fully expecting it. I'm hoping Biden and Merrick Garland and Jack Smith, whoever, I'm hoping they have everything in place and ready to fend off Donald Trump's insane claims. With 4 days of campaigning to go in the 2024 race, Harris and Trump are both making their final pitches to voters, spending Friday evening hosting competing rallies in Wisconsin where they attempt to appeal to blue wall voters. And going back to Donald Trump declaring victory early, he's been asked repeatedly on this campaign trail if he'll accept the results of the election even if he loses. He has refused to answer every single time. His answer is always that slippery political doublespeak where he says something along the lines of, well, I'll concede as long as it's not rigged, which means that he'll never concede because he's the one that decides if it's rigged unilaterally. He doesn't care about any courts or anything. Listen to this clip of Donald Trump talking about his beautiful white skin.
They leave. A lot of these big companies, you know, they're run by they live in Switzerland, they have very glamorous lives. They have the life that I could have had if I decided not to do this. Actually, somebody said to me, are you glad you did it? I said, absolutely, but I could have been on the best beaches in the world. I own the best beaches in the world.
Instead, I'm here with you folks, is what he's thinking in his mind, even though he won't say it out loud.
Could have had such time. I could have been at the Great Turnberry in Scotland.
Instead, I have to be in Warren, Michigan. Oh.
Could have been anywhere I wanted to be. I could have had those waves smacking me in the face. I could have said, that white, beautiful white skin that I have would be nice and tan. I got the whitest skin because I never have time to go out in the sun, but I have that beautiful white, and you know what? It could have been beautiful, tan, beautiful. But
I don't know if this dude can get any more tan at this point. I don't know what he's yapping about. In this clip, Tim Walz is saying, Donald Trump did an interview a while back where he kept saying, I'm not weird. Just watch this. He'll make a great vice president.
Donald did an interview a while back. It was like a 30-minute interview. And in that 30-minute interview, 11 times he volunteered and told the person why he wasn't weird. My observation in life is if you're explaining to people why you're not weird, you very well could be. But look, It's weird to be concerned with other people's bedrooms. It's weird to try and tell other people how their health care should be done. It's weird to try and make a case about they know what's best for you to read, watch, or whatever. When Kamala and I talk about freedom, we mean you should be free to make those decisions, not politicians.
I love this. I love this new brand of liberalism that has emerged out of the Democratic Party literally in the last 120 days. I mean, Tim Walz is explaining all of these values of liberalism. Hey, individuals should be free to do whatever they want as long as they are happy and they are not hurting anybody else. That includes practicing whatever religion they want. That is liberal. That includes marrying or loving whoever they want. That means having access to any sort of treatment that you want to make your life better, whether that's Adderall that you want to take or whether it's some sort of gender-affirming care. You should have access to all of it in a liberal society, and Republicans seem to have forgotten this limited government that they used to love so much. Here's Lindsey Graham super pissed off at Liz Cheney.
So all I can say, folks, this is the election of a lifetime. Liz Cheney is campaigning for Democrats to take back the House. She endorsed Mike Rogers' opponent in Michigan. She endorsed a Democrat to help Democrats take back the Senate. Don't listen to words she says.
He is pissed off. And listen, Liz Cheney is far from perfect, but she is objectively a better person than Lindsey Graham will ever be. Lindsey Graham has completely sold himself out, and the reason he's so mad at Liz Cheney is because women all across the country are thinking like this. This is a lifelong conservative. She calls herself, and she can't vote.
Although I am by history a conservative, but I do believe that the values that Trump is currently representing are not mine. Although I am...
Many Republicans across the country feel this way, and I'm just hoping it's enough for them to turn out. That is why Trump's rallies are rapidly thinning out. Watch this clip. Sorry, I have to mute it due to the song playing, but you can see at the top in September, the rally was full. In Warren, Michigan, in the same venue, the chairs are thinning out, and this is indicative of a broader pattern. I do want to preface this by saying Donald Trump still has a very good chance of returning to the White House. You guys should be mentally preparing. We don't all want to be slapped in the face if it does happen, because all predictive models show a 50% chance. But with that being said, if we all vote, if we all mobilize, if we get our friends and family to turn out, then this broader pattern will signify the end of the MAGA movement as we know it. It'll signify a broad rejection of MAGA, of that style of politics, of the bullying, of the deflection, of the lying constantly. If we all turn out, if we make sure that his rallies continue to thin, his Stop the Steal rallies basically sizzle out right away, that his social media engagement fades out, that he gets less votes, that MAGA candidates are rejected at the polling booth, then we are in a good position to reject MAGA for decades to come and reject stuff like this. I mean, he talks about African American jobs, black jobs all the time.
Data shows that 100% of all net job gains, listen to this, think of it.
Listen to this. He can just barely speak. Listen to that one more time.
It shows that 100% of all net job gains, listen to this, think of it, it's all gone to the migrants, along with African American jobs are at the worst, one of the worst levels. They're all going to migrants. The African American, when you see those numbers, that's the numbers your fake news ought to show you, because they're going to come out with numbers right after the elections. It's going to show that all those people that illegally come across the border with their open border policy are taking the African American jobs away. So.
And right here, a journalist for Bridge, Michigan said, "This was easily the lightest attended event I've seen of Trump's rallies in Michigan." His remarks were about 1 hour and 45 minutes. He said, "This is the lightest attended event that he has seen." I'm so glad I didn't turn up to this one because the content would have been so thin. There's essentially nobody there as Donald Trump rants on about pieces of lettuce.
Your prices weren't quadrupled for a sausage, for a piece of lettuce, for an apple. Now the prices have gone so high. Everyone tells me about the word groceries, for groceries.
He said pieces of lettuce and people in the crowd started to chant thank you. This man could say whatever he wanted. And you know, that's the true danger. That's what I wanted to talk about this video, is that we are currently witnessing the dying, desperate throes of a political provocateur's career as it slowly swirls the drain. Because every single time Donald Trump holds an event, he says something more batshit insane and less people show up. We've seen this time and time again. Like, for example, here's Donald Trump talking about Elon cost cutting.
It's about some proper cost cutting. You know who we're going to use for that? Elon. He thinks he can find $2 trillion, only Elon. Anybody that can have that rocket come down the way it came down, that sucker. Right? How about that? How cool was that?
He has a childlike understanding of the world, and I've said this many times, but the only thing that scares me more than Donald Trump getting into office is the fact that he's going to appoint people like Elon Musk, people like RFK Jr., even people like Vivek Ramaswamy. That scares the hell out of me, not to mention JD Vance, all of these smart, slippery people that will take advantage of our institutions and erode these unspoken norms to the full. Watch this clip of Donald Trump talking about RFK Jr.
I'm sorry, guys. You said last night, President Trump, you said last night you would essentially let Robert F. Kennedy Jr. do whatever he wants with health care. What
He's going to have a big role in health care.
HHS, maybe?
We just left. In fact, I think he might be here.
He's right behind.
He's right here.
You're comfortable with his
Will
views
he run
on, You're comfortable
HHS?
with his views on vaccines, Mr. President?
We'll be talking about a lot of things, but he's going to have a big role in health care, a very big role.
Is it HHS, maybe?
He knows it better than anybody. He's got some views that I happen to agree with very strongly, and I have for a long time. I mean, for years, you and I would agree. We'll be seeing it as a...
What about his views on vaccine and maybe a position at
All of these
HHS?
things will be talked about.
All of these things will be talked about. He's going to be put in charge of the health of our country, despite his views on vaccines. That is absolutely absurd. It's like Donald Trump is appointing the most evil person to every position possible. Why don't we put Elon Musk in charge of the regulatory bodies when he's the one who could benefit from that the most? Why don't we put RFK Jr. in charge of the health when he's the one who could tear it down the most? I've said this in other videos, but it's like putting Ted Bundy in charge of the women's health department. That's basically what Trump is doing with all of his apocalyptic policies. If you guys appreciate what I do, drop a like, subscribe. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.